So hi, my name is Patrick Naud. So basically I want to talk about our learning. I might be exaggerating just a little bit just to add dramatic effect, but I come from console games. As many developers, I come from console games, and I want to talk about their journey from making console games to actually making kick-ass mobile games. So about me, I'm one of the lucky ones. I came right out of university and had a chance to work at Ubisoft Montreal. I started working there in '98. Spent 14 years there, from junior producer to associate to senior to executive producer. Lately, working a lot with licensed project. And my lasting project was bringing back the Far Cry license with Far Cry 3. But I had a chance to start a new studio in Montreal. So I had a chance to go and start this new adventure. And back then in 2012-13, we were working on Hitman 6. We were building this big, gigantic AAA studio in Montreal to take over, to take basically over the next Hitman game. We were working, again, all quadruple A developers, bringing this new Hitman to next generation console. You might remember in 2013 there was a little backlash where basically none of the games from the Square Enix portfolio achieved their objective. And this got us to reflect at the whole studio as to, all right, what are we doing? Everyone in the group is working on third-person action-adventure console games. No one was working on mobile, no one was working on PC and different business models, so we decided to go all in and take over. Back then it was the tablet challenge. So what can we do with our brands around tablet? Obviously from there came Hitman Go, Hitman Sniper, and Lara Croft Go. So it was a pretty good journey, let's put it this way. So what I want to talk is our journey, is our idealist approach to making mobile games. Because honestly, we were, quadruple A console developer, so mobile is easy, right? Should be a breeze. Should be a breeze because we're great developers. We are amazing developers. We all have 12, 15, 20 years experience in making video games. We know gamers. We know what they like. We know how they play. They love our brands. They're super passionate. They're willing to put $60 US, 40 quid on a console game. They all have a mobile phone. I mean, everyone has a mobile phone. And you know what? You just need to not be evil, right? Console games, they don't like timers, they don't like paywalls, they don't like the in-app purchase thing, they don't like to be forced to pay, they don't like to be forced to play online. I mean, so we just need to avoid this and we'll succeed, right? Obviously not, right? Obviously it's, as we always say, we're amazing, we're smart people, but we cannot achieve at a level that we don't know about. So we came in with a very idealist approach, and I want to talk about a little bit what we learned along the way. Right? As I said, I'm adding a little bit dramatic effect. We weren't that clueless, but it makes a better presentation. But just a quick note about the studio. So we went, again, from being just developers to developer publisher. So we take care of everything. We bring our games to market. We manage them live. So it was pretty interesting learning for us. And these are just a few of the things that, again, we understood along the way, but we'd like to come in knowing a little bit more about that. The first one is pretty simple, all right? HR 101, get people that believe in what you're doing. So as I mentioned earlier, Montreal is the home of some of the biggest console brands in the world, so Assassin's Creed, Rainbow Six, Deus Ex, Mass Effect. I mean, all these titles are developed in Montreal. And most of the developers, we all come from that background. We all come from that way of working. Teams of gazillion million people that are delivering the biggest game in the market. So the developers that we had in the studio at that point were coming from that mindset. We're coming with that approach. And many of them didn't adjust or were not able to come into that little agile and exotic world that was mobile. So the first thing actually is that honestly, even if you have the best developers in the world, if they don't believe in what you do, it won't work. Especially in the mobile space when we have a team of 10, 12 people, if you have one or two that aren't into it, it'll show, right? It's super funny. Facebook reminded me 2 weeks ago. I was working on a presentation. Oh, by the way, do you remember 3 years ago? This is the studio we had. The studio was still in development, or it's still in construction. Amazing team, 12 plus year experience. I mean, all these people are still heavily working in the industry, all have super big roles in console. We're 6 left.
Yeah.
Actually, myself, the 2 producers that are still with us came from there. The creative guys behind Hitman Go and Lara Croft, and the key producer behind Hitman Sniper. Everyone else are working elsewhere. Again, all great developers, but it didn't quite fit with what we want to do. Second point is, yeah, you need to focus and do what you do best. I mean, it's not everyone that has all their skill maxed out when they start the adventure. So as a studio, we had strengths, we had stuff we could do. So that's why we focus on controls, on gameplay, on amazing art, on getting the most out of the engine and out of these devices. So that's why, actually, when you look at Hitman Go and Hitman Sniper, that was a focus. By the way, Hitman Sniper started at the same moment as Hitman Go. But along the way, we decided to say, you know what? We can do that free-to-play thing, right? Everyone can do it. I mean, we're smart. We can do this. 2 soft launch later, we kind of went back to say, you know what? Let's focus on what we do. We repackaged everything we had into making it premium. It took 6 weeks, actually. But we have a really big success in the premium space with Hitman Sniper, where in the free-to-play space, we would not have paid yet for the first month. So my first, okay, focus on what you do best. We'll learn along the way, all right? And we all learn by doing it. And we might know all the theory, we might read all the blogs, we might go to all these conferences and understand how it works. But until you go through it and until you do the journey, you only get the idea. The 80%, you don't get the full extent what it means. It's obviously the same audience, right? I mean, these console guys, they usually pay $60 for a game. Why wouldn't they pay $5 for a great mobile game, right? It's super simple. Obviously not, right? Even if we work with the 3 million Facebook fans that we have, even if we have amazing communities, social channels that are talking about our brands, we are very, very, very far in terms of downloads from the number of console games that were sold on Hitman. And again, the game does really well. We're heavily profitable, but still, we're far from that number. And it's the same pattern for Lara Croft Go versus Tomb Raider. I mean, people didn't convert, but again, after a few years in the mobile space, you understand that consumer behavior is a little bit different than from console to mobile. A good example is something I wanted to share with you. I hope you see it as well. We are doing surveys with some of our players to better understand how they discovered the game, where do they come from, and it's something I want to share with you guys. It's an average of our 3 games. It's an average of the 3 games. But what comes out is that still discovery is more than 50% from the direct people discovering the games in the store. And again, we're making these games on super hardcore brands. We have, because of the brands, because of Square Enix, we probably over-index in press. We probably got a lot more coverage and a lot more people that learn from our game from press. But still, it's only 24%. And I can tell you that Hitman Sniper came out, little warning, don't release a core game before E3 or else you won't have any coverage at all, right? We had, Pocket Gamer covered it, thank you. But that's about it. So yeah, word of mouth between 10 and 15%. Social channels, this is YouTube, videos, Reddit, and stuff like that. And others, in there we have obviously our corporate newsletter. That actually works. That's 1.5% of people that actually come into the game because of that. And the rest is various years. But I just found it interesting to share because it's obviously not what we were expecting. Again, we were expecting this to be a lot bigger. Again, include this a little bit. You can't buy prime featuring. When you're in console space, you can work with Sony and Microsoft. you plan ahead, this is the kind of coverage we want to have. We'll work together on the bundle so that at E3 we'll be on your conference, and then we'll work on this campaign together, and so we're gonna get featured. Obviously, with Apple, even if you do editor's choice, you probably know, on Thursday when the store refreshes, I hope we're there. And I'm also saying it to the fact that you can buy Prime Featuring because these are the numbers of actual clicks that we got on the app in the first week. So the Prime Featuring gave us, again, if we go back to numbers from the previous slide, well, look at that. If we say that 51% of people discovered the game through the App Store, let's say that half of these clicks, and again, I think it's a lot more than that, half of these clicks come from people that saw it in the store. How much, what kind of campaign would give us 5.5 million clicks on our apps? How much would that cost? And honestly, that don't think we can pay for. So it's just interesting, I wanted to showcase that. And again, I think obviously the brand is probably more appealing this side than this side, so that's why we have a little more clicks. But yeah, we didn't get any PR. So I think there's also a big a reason why we got that gap. We were a little bit judgmental of Windows, obviously. Windows, too small. But I highly recommend it. We actually, for us, we're working with Unity, so it's fairly simple. But we're making between 5 and 8% of our revenues every month out of this ecosystem. They've been great partners. They want to have content, so they're really eager to push good content. And the new Windows 10 platform is actually, the new portal, it's fun to work with. If you shipped on Windows 8, it was horrendous. Windows 10 is actually pretty fun. But one thing, don't forget Xbox achievements, because the core players on the Windows system, they love their achievements. And if you don't put them in, they'll tell you every week and every week and every week. Mm-hmm. All right, something I need to talk about, but it's super interesting in terms of stats. So we were lucky, we got number 4 on the best of 2014 for Hitman Go, number 1 for Lara Croft Go. And it was interesting to see that, all right, the compound press coverage that we got out of the Game of the Year with Lara Croft Go, what it gave us, because it was amazing. Hitman Go last year, when released about 2 years ago, getting that additional featuring from Game of the Year, number 4, but still got 2.2%, times 2.2 the number of downloads that we got the previous month, just for that week of featuring. For Lara Croft Go, it's a little bit more. But what we see though is that that number 1 spot, or that the credibility of being the Game of the Year, gave us 3 times the revenue that we got on Hitman Go the previous year. And again, with this somewhat similar featuring. And in terms of views, I talked about views, but that featuring gave us an additional 2 million views only during that week of Game of the Year featuring. So think about it. We got 11 million views in the first week, and 2 million when we're heavily featured for Game of the Year. Launch is important. That launch window is kind of the critical part for it. So it's something that we learned along the way, is that how can we better optimize for that launch window. So not so bad, winning time. So I can ramble for a little while because I kind of like to talk about what we do. So yeah, get the best people, focus on what you do best, and all this bullshit. But the only thing I can tell you is that we love games. We're all gamers. Do something that you believe in. Have fun making it. It'll show. I mean, I'm a gamer. You're gamers. We all love playing great games. So I hope I somewhat was entertaining for 14 minutes, and that you have a few things that you got out of it. But yeah, it's possible to do great console game, bring great console brand to mobile. It's possible to actually make money with premium games. It's not easy, and I might have romanticized a little bit the journey that we did, but it's really fun. So I encourage anyone that has a chance to work with one of these key brands. It's interesting to follow up on the previous talks about The Walking Dead, because very similar journey that we did. Thank you very much.
We're just a little under the time, but we have quite room for one question. And there's a lot of interesting stuff there. Has anybody got a question? Square. This is really interesting IP. It's a really interesting business model that's premium still making money. No questions?
I'll be around anyway.
He'll be around anyway. Okay, fair enough. Well, what can I say? People are tired simply. Okay. Next up, I want to say we've obviously talked about a TV IP. We've talked about a big game IP, but successful brands don't have to be massive game IPs, paparazzi, pouring out stars or movie licenses. And now we're going to sit here from Animoca Brands Group. Robbie Young is going to share success with the rise of children's game brands. So please welcome Robbie to the stage, please.